Welcome back for another video. Who are the best players to buy for Gameweek 38? There's a 14.5% increase in goals per game in Gameweek 38 on average, and we've seen some crazy score lines and hauls over the years, so there's always massive potential in the final game week. For the last time this season, let's run through the best picks. This video has been sponsored by the brilliant Holy. They're a better alternative to conventional energy and soft drinks. There's zero sugar, no aspartame, no taurine, made of natural flavours. It's incredible value for money. It's about 50p for a 500ml serving. But nowadays you pay double that for a can which is smaller. It's fruity, delicious, it's got bold and intense flavours, and I recommend you get the starter set because that comes with 57 sachets, so all the flavours, you get the shaker, free delivery, and exclusively for the channel, use the code FOCAL5 and they'll give you a £5 off your first order, or you could use the code FOCAL to get 10% off, so try both, see which one gets you the biggest discount. There's a link in the description to check Holy out. Goalkeepers first then, and we'll keep this the shortest segment because you're probably looking at other positions. Which fixtures have got the best clean sheet potential though? Man City are home to Villa, Arsenal have got Palace away, Chelsea have got Sunderland away, and West Ham have got Leeds home. So the top four keepers for the finale are Donnarumma, Raya, Sanchez and Hermansen. If you're not tripled up on City or Arsenal and you need a keeper, then Donnarumma and Raya are probably your best bets there. Arsenal top of the clean sheet odds, they've got a 44% chance, and then it's Man City 38%. Reflecting back on the season, Arsenal's defensive numbers have been absolutely ridiculous compared to the rest of the pack. 27.3 expected goals conceded, that's the best we've seen for many years. Man City with 40.1 XGC, second best, but you're talking 13 expected goals more conceded. And then it's Liverpool, then it's Brighton, then it's Man United, Chelsea and Palace. A few surprises in there, like Brighton in 4th place. I remember researching Herzler when he first joined Brighton from St. Pauli, because when he was there, he had them set up really elite defensively, among the best defensive numbers in Europe. So we're finally starting to see that from Brighton. Anyway, seems like a double Arsenal defence is going to be almost essential from Game Week 1 next season, assuming that they carry on similarly. I think we'll be paying 7.5 mil for Gabriel though. 4 clean sheets on the bounce for Arsenal since that loss to Man City. Will they keep a 5th in a row and lift their first Premier League trophy for 22 years? There's some really exciting defenders, mids and forwards, so let's move on to defenders next. Now, generally speaking, there is often a huge bump in goals in Game Week 38, as I say, and we often see both teams scoring, so yeah, do choose carefully here. In roughly 83% of seasons, Game Week 38 beats the season's prior goal per game average. In fact, for the last 15 consecutive seasons, the final day has outscored the rest of the campaign's average. The final defenders table is Gabriel, Porro, Saliba, O'Reilly, Van Dijk, Mateus, Danso and Mavropanos. The high floor, low ceiling pick is Saliba for sure, assuming that you've already got Gabriel. You can still go double defence or even triple defence. Arsenal's defence is so highly owned right now that just owning one defender negatively affects your rank for any clean sheet points they get. Porro is the main one to highlight here. Spurs are playing Everton home. I'm recording this before the Chelsea vs Tottenham game, and whether they win that or lose that, it's still a really good transfer this week, given his upside. Plus he's got the set piece duties, he loves a shot, a goal and open play. In fact, over the last 6 game weeks, Porro's 10 chances created is second most among all defenders. First is actually Juve, and he's also taken 10 shots, that's more than any defender over that time frame. O'Reilly is definitely another one who's going to see a significant price bump next season. I reckon we'll be paying like 6.5 mil to own him Game Week 1. 8.09 XGI, more than any defender this season. Amazingly, second most is actually Gahey with 6.4 XGI, and then it's Timber, Munoz, Senesi. If the relegation scrap goes down to the wire, Mavropanos is a really nice option. He's only 4.5 mil, decent clean sheet potential, huge goal threat. He scored 3 goals this season. Who remembers that Wolves home game in Game Week 32 where he scored a brace, he kept a clean sheet, he hit DEFCON and he got max bonus for a 21 pointer? I mean, it's so unlikely, but let's be honest, someone is going to spike one of these mega hauls, and some of you watching will own whoever that player is. Which random player do you think will spike a huge Game Week 38 score? So let's take a look at the midfielders next, and the final mids table is Bruno, Salah, Semenyo, Szoboszlai, Cherki, Palmer, Saka and Antony. Will Bruno get the assist that he needs to break the all-time Premier League record? He's one off, he's currently tied of Henry and De Bruyne as it stands, so he'll desperately be looking for that record. They're playing Brighton away, who collectively, to be fair, have a lot of motivation themselves, battling for Europe still, and they could still miss out completely if they lose. Anyone going for one last dance with Salah? An end of an era as the FPL GOAT plays his last game for Liverpool. He has to start, surely. It's such an expensive punt though, so I just wouldn't go for it unless you can get to him without making any sacrifices, and that's probably going to also take a few transfers without interrupting the rest of your team. Zobo is only 0.1 projected points behind him this game week for exactly 7 mil cheaper. Palmer and Saka's projections hang in the balance. It does depend on their expected minutes. The data does suggest here that swapping one to the other is a sideways move, but if you're desperately chasing a big upside move, then you could go for Palmer, even captain him this week, given he's got Sunderland and extremely low owned. Single digit ownership among active managers Palmer, which really underlines the potential, but obviously it's not been a good season for Palmer or Chelsea. Antony for 5 mil, another fun differential. He's so cheap. And many of us are sitting on some assets that you just don't necessarily want to be playing in Gameweek 38 if you can help it. Like Gross or Tavernier, Wilson, etc. They're playing home to Wolves as well. Obviously both teams relegated, so that could be a really fun game when neither team are playing with any pressure, and you're going to be one of the only managers in the world that owns Antony. He's actually had a good season. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a move elsewhere. Tavernier's on 4.3 points, so it is a slight improvement. Antony's on 4.7. Gross is on 4.2, Wilson's 4.4, but he was benched last game. Tell is on 4.2 points as well, he just misses out. Maybe he's the random player that spikes the Gameweek 38 haul. He's only 0.3% owned, and last match he scored against Leeds, of course, and the match before he got an assist. Tottenham are the ultimate Gameweek 38 anomalies. They average a massive plus 84% goal increase in Gameweek 38 compared to their Gameweek 1 to Gameweek 37 averages, famously featuring that massive scoreline like 7-1 over Hull and 5-0 over Norwich. Newcastle are another side that historically explode in the final day. Historically, they average double plus 110% their season scoring rate in Gameweek 38. But let's be honest, it's hard to recommend someone like Tell or Muani, isn't it? Solanke not fit enough for the Chelsea game, so we can be reasonably confident that Richarlison starts in the 38, probably gets quite good minutes as well. So let's take a look at the forwards instead, and then we'll look at team of the week. The final forwards table of the season is Haaland, Bowen, Welbeck, Thiago, Richarlison, Fleming, João Pedro and Armstrong. Haaland with 7.0 projected points, top of all players in Gameweek 38, playing home to Aston Villa. And what's very much in City's favour here is, number one, Villa play the Europa League final just a few days before. And also, Villa have already secured Champions League football regardless, so it's a dead rubber game for them. Bowen is looking like a really good transfer in, however. 5.5 projected points. He's actually second highest across all positions, so Haaland number one, of course. Bruno was on 5.3. Leeds are another side with nothing left to play for. And it's astonishing actually that they came away with a 1-0 win over Brighton. Don't let that scoreline fool you. Leeds only amassed one shot on target, and that was the shot in stoppage time. The DCL winner off a huge mistake by Van Heck playing the back pass to him. Only 0.39 expected goals Leeds registered there. And Brighton, playing Leeds away, came away with just over 3 expected goals, 19 shots. So yeah, it's a good fixture for Bowen. Richarlison is on 4.4 points with an estimated 65 or so minutes. If we bump that up to 80, he moves up to third place on 4.9 points. If Solanke's out or he's still a doubt in Gameweek 38, then we can be quite confident Richarlison's minutes looking really good. If he gets 85 minutes, that places him on 5.2 points, not far behind Bowen. Gyökeres was benched for Arsenal's game home to Burnley. Massive frustration for owners there, coming off the bench for a one-pointer. Hundreds of thousands captained him even. Do you keep Gyökeres or sell? Well, I was saying in last week's content that Havertz does have a good chance of starting in one of the final 2 games to get some rhythm before the Champions League final, where I would personally expect Havertz to start. Though the Palace game was the one I thought was likelier, but then Havertz did start that, scored the winner, so I think there's a good chance Arteta sticks with that again, with Lewis Skelly probably one of the other changes coming into the team in midfield in place of Eze. So yeah, Gyökeres to Bowen or Richarlison looks worth it. Finishing up with a look at team of the week using these projected points. So the team is Donnarumma, Gabriel, Porro, Saliba, Bruno, Cherki, Antony, Szoboszlai, Bowen, Haaland and Welbeck. How many players will you have from this team after your transfers? On the bench it's Hermansen, Minte, Danso and Estev. Team is within 100 million budget and it's 3 players per team max. If you saved your free hit for Gameweek 38, there's some inspiration here. I'd rather go for the Raya and O'Reilly combination instead of Donnarumma and Saliba, but other than that, it looks great. I'm not sure about Welbeck either. I'd probably go Richarlison. Anthony's a nice punt in midfield, so that's probably the only changes I'd make, but yeah, great team. Huge shout out to FPLreview.com for the projection data used in these videos all season. That is the final Players to Buy video of the season done. Thank you for watching. See you soon for the next one.